Hello and welcome to Chocolate and Cheese. My name is Dom, and with me I have my lovely co-host.
Lulu,
Whoa, you jump
hello.
right in there.
Whoa.
Hello. Okay, it's Monday, the 23rd of February, and we are back after a long, long weekend. I missed you, Lou. It's been too long.
Oh, really?
Let's start the show. Our topic today is fear. We talk about scary things.
Hmm.
I'm gonna start straight away with a scary thing that just frightens me. Well, it
Yeah.
used to frighten me, to be honest with you. I used to have a terrible phobia. I was afraid of flying. I was afraid of using planes. This is a very common fear, I have to say. Nothing too special about that. So I guess a lot of our listeners can relate to
Yeah.
that particular fear. Very common. But I had it really, really bad. I remember this back when I was in my early 20s. I had to travel between England and Germany quite often, and I just got so frightened. I really couldn't use planes anymore. I mean, it all kind of started with 9/11. But we don't have to go into this. I didn't really worry about planes being hijacked or anything like that. Yeah, it was more about crashing. I mean, as simple as that. And like I said, it's a very common fear. And the thing is, I know so many other people, including Yulu, or like Yulu, or like my mother. They would go on a plane, completely chilled out. You would sit there and you would just immediately fall asleep. I mean, so many people I can see on planes, they're just super relaxed, and I was there completely panicky, especially during these frightening times of taking off and landing. I mean, statistically, these are the times when accidents can happen. Once you're up there in the air, it's probably pretty safe. Now I know, and I knew then that traveling by plane is one of the safest things you can do. I'm very much aware of this. It's much more dangerous to just be behind your wheel, in a car. So I was very much aware of that. But this didn't really help. I was just so scared, especially during these times in the beginning and towards the landing. Things like turbulences. I mean, they would just freak me out. In the bumpy rides, anything that's kind of like unexplained noises. One of the first things that I noticed, when the landing gears go in, that terrible sound. I'm talking actually quite fast because I'm actually, I'm right there on the plane being scared again. But it was just unfamiliar noises that I couldn't make sense of. And I kind of wished that there was a stewardess, or the captain, and then they would just sit next to me and just tell me that everything is going to be all right. I was in a terrible state at the time because of this. And at one point, it was so bad, I couldn't actually travel at all. I had to use other means of transport. So I started using coaches. Actually, I've only done that once.
Yeah.
Going all the way from London to the very south of Germany on a coach,
How
which
long?
which took about 20 hours. It was a terrible experience. I mean, I'm sure our listeners know what it can be like to be on a coach for a couple of hours. But 20 hours, I just feel like, what, I can board a plane and just crash. I don't even care anymore. And I think just after that experience, it became a little bit better. I'm still now a little bit apprehensive, I have to say. Can't completely relax, but I'm much better. We do travel much more now. Now the thing about fear of flights, like I said, logic really doesn't matter here at all. It's one. People keep telling you it's the safest thing, but once you're scared, once the emotions are in there, all the stuff that or logical things just don't matter. You're just so scared. I noticed, and this is actually an interesting thing, I realized that the times that I didn't feel I was still worried, but not too worried, is when I was kind of like distracted. And what I mean by that, it couldn't just be any distraction. I felt that when there was somebody else on board who was more frightened than me,
Yeah.
that really, really helps. I remember clearly there was one incident. It was a bit of a bumpy ride, and I was traveling between, again, Germany and England, and there was a lady next to me, and she said, I'm so scared of flying. I really can I just hold your arm a little bit? And because I had to look after her, I was completely distracted, and I had to look after her, and it was totally fine for me. Now, I guess this can work for some of our listeners, but obviously you cannot count on somebody being more frightened than you. So, but I found it an interesting distraction, actually. I remember also traveling with you once. You were quite scared. We were like traveling, I think, to Switzerland, and
That was awful.
yeah. And it was
Yeah.
it was a very bumpy ride, and you got so scared that I was distracted, and I had to look
Because
up.
sometimes really dropped dramatically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that
true.
was really scary.
Yeah, and it just it just distracts the other person, and then you kind of you kind of feel better again. Now, related to this, is another fear, which is kind of related to flying, and I will explain myself why that is. It's the fear of soiling yourself in public. I mean, this is just a scenario, and I'm not talking about like, okay, you can't quite make it to the toilet. A little tinkle maybe there, or something. I'm really talking about explosive liquids. I hope our listeners know what I'm talking about. You see, when this happens at home, when it kind of happens not too far away from home, you can kind of think, okay, if it happens and it's all too late, you can kind of make your way home, or you can, even think about some exit routes, just in case, today I feel a little bit like something could happen. But now, going back to the idea of flights, can you imagine getting the pilots suffering from a terrible bout of diarrhea on a plane? I mean, oh my God, what are you going to do? You're in there, you're rushing towards the toilet, and then it just happens. And you see the thing.
And if you are lucky, it's free.
Oh
The
God!
toilet
Oh my
is
God!
free.
Don't even tell
Because
me.
normally people waiting for that tiny
Yeah.
compartment.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my God! Yeah, but you see, whatever happens, if you make it or if you don't make it, it's going to be super embarrassing, and everybody on that plane, 300, 400 passengers, will know who the culprit is. It was, obviously it would be, well, if it happened to me, it would be me. And then the agony of however long that flight is, to be on that plane, and you have all these people around you who cannot breathe because it's just so potent.
Just imagine the mask falling down.
Yeah, they might actually drop out. Absolutely, these flights. Which actually reminds me, I read this story about a couple who went, I think, on a honeymoon, and the guy's wife, she was actually terrified of flying as well, and she had the same thing again on their flight to their honeymoon destination, and he kind of thought, hey, do you know what? If we go to the cockpit, if we talk to the captain, if the captain tells you, hey, this is how it all works. It can be bumpy, but that doesn't mean anything. He thought that's gonna maybe help her a little bit, and I guess I always thought maybe that's gonna help me as well. It had the exact opposite effect. His wife felt even more terrible, and she had the attack she had an explosive attack, and it happened right there in the cockpit. Although she tried to get to not hospital, she tried to get to the toilet, but it just happened, it's actually said that the stench was so incredibly bad that the pilots actually had to be using the masks to actually make it to make the end of the journey. Really, it was that bad. So she actually soiled herself in the cockpit. I mean, this is a nightmare scenario. So this really does happen, and I'm glad it hasn't happened to me yet. I say yet because I just hope it's not going to happen anyway. So these are my phobias, the things that I'm terrified of. One is, with the flying is kind of okay, but there is still this thing about these explosive liquids affair happening, especially when it comes to flying. That would be terrible. Lou, what is your phobia? What are you most scared of?
For me, basically, I don't like insects.
Okay. Is that like any insect? Or
any insects, but especially ladybirds.
the ladybird?
Mm.
You are afraid of cute little ladybirds.
Not cute for me.
Oh my God! You know what? If you give me animals, Lou, I could have thought, okay, she's gonna give me rats, she's gonna give me snakes, she give me spider, and you're giving me a ladybird.
Yeah.
Wait. This is fantastic. I love this. Ladybirds. I actually have very fond memories of ladybirds from when I was in kindergarten. We would make little stickers that looked like ladybirds, or they actually have chocolates in the shape of ladybirds.
I know.
It's just the cutest thing. Lou, explain yourself.
Even that chocolate upset me.
Okay, what is it exactly about ladybirds that you find so horrible? I mean, this is amazing. I mean, sorry, I shouldn't actually laugh. I mean, it's a serious matter. But
Yeah.
what is it about ladybirds?
Yeah. That happened in England.
Okay. Oh, there's a story to it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm all ears.
In my flat.
Yeah.
Someday I suddenly wanted to check behind the curtain.
Okay.
Not front of the curtain, but behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a red, weird thing
Yeah.
on my curtain.
Okay.
I didn't quite understand what was it.
Yeah.
That was gang of ladybirds.
Oh, a gang, a criminal gang of ladybirds. Okay. Right. So it was loads there.
Yeah.
Like really loads.
It's not just a lot. Loads and loads.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's really bizarre, actually.
Yeah, that was really, really disgusting.
That is quite disgusting. Okay, now, that actually is not as crazy as I thought, that you would be, afraid of individual ladybirds. What you're talking about here is actually if I have a whole mass of these, creepy crawly insects. Okay, now that will actually, that makes sense, because if I think about it now, ladybirds are not like the cutest thing ever. I mean, obviously you have other things, like for example, you start to, you got your itches now. Like really cute, like hamsters. Hamsters could be super cute, but if you have an infestation, if you go into a room and it's just hundreds of them creeping and crawling, and you don't even see the floor anymore. Now that's disgusting, obviously.
No.
So it could be as cute.
It's so cute.
No, if you have an infestation, that's just disgusting.
Anything with fur doesn't matter.
Right, but I think I kind of think it's still the amount of. Would you be okay? So you saw loads of ladybirds. What if there was just one? If you see a ladybird outside on the plant, is that horrible for you?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
Now it's horrible.
Okay, so you're back to being crazy. No, okay. Well, okay, we talk about phobias and fears. Okay, it's fine. What is there anything specifically that they do that that really upsets you?
They pooed on my hand.
What do you mean poo?
Yellow liquid coming.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's nasty. That's a bit mean. By the way, ladybirds. Okay, when it's yellow, that's not actually poo. Ladybird. So. No. Actually,
diarrhea maybe.
No. Well, yeah, maybe they were so scared of you, they actually soiled themselves. I'm sure they were on the radio show before, and they discussed that very matter. They were worried about Asian women around the area, and the yellow liquid that comes out of ladybirds, and our listeners and you might not know this. This is actually a defense mechanism. Ladybirds do when they feel threatened. It comes actually out of their little legs. They have a little liquid coming out, which is actually a little bit toxic, and it actually stinks. I've never actually smelled it myself because I'm not that intimate with.
That was bitter.
With ladybird. What, did you taste it?
No, it smells bitter. I didn't lick it.
Okay, yeah, but that's on purpose. It's really supposed to be. It's a defense mechanism. It's kind of it's a little bit toxic, and it reeks, and it's supposed to get rid of the predators who are trying to eat the insects, the ladybirds. So people think it's supposed to be, it makes them look a little bit like sick. And usually when predators see something sick, they don't attack it. So that's one explanation, just in case you didn't know that. Yeah, but I understand that. Yeah, that is, it looks a bit gross. Yeah, so if you shouldn't actually touch ladybirds. That's exactly what they do. Yeah, they're quite stressed. And no, absolutely.
So for me, red, black, and yellow.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
image
Oh, that's
of
terrible.
ladybird.
Yeah. Oh God, these poor little creatures. But like we said, it doesn't have anything to do with logic. You know, once it's in there, once you feel quite have an emotional reaction to it, and it could be about planes, it could be about accidents happening, or even things like ladybirds can really frighten you. So kind of. Yeah, kind of understand. But I think especially when they come in packs. I mean, this is something that is really creepy. That even then I would, even very cute animals, I would become frightened and well, actually maybe more disgusted and fear. But anyway, so these are the fears that we can think of, our personal phobias. And I'm wondering, our listeners, if you have any phobias that you would like to share with us, please let us know. Any maybe unusual, maybe similar to Lou's ladybird experience. If you know, please let us know. And otherwise, thanks for liking and commenting on this episode. And if you really, really love chocolate and cheese, as I always say, then just hit that subscribe button. Not button, but yeah, button. And I think the only thing left for us to do now is actually watching some ladybirds on YouTube. Let's do that.